the river, or whatever you want to call it, the ocean, right? It splits open to the point that you can see the bottom of the ocean. Has anybody has witnessed? I think they made a movie out of it, right? Yeah. So even in the movie, the visual effect that they put, people get drawn towards it. Now imagine you see that in a live version right in front of you. Would there be any more excuse not to believe in the hereafter, not to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to become a believer? Any excuses? Right? Then what happens? Right after, they cross past the Nile River, right after they go to the other side, right after that, the second miracle comes where Nabi Musa has to use his staff again and he hits the rock. Why? Because the form of the Israel, they had this dispute. They would not be settled to drink from the same fountain. Something that we can relate to again, and inshallah I'll make a point out of it. He would say, okay, this is my tribe, that's tribe A, that's tribe B, that's tribe C, that's tribe D. We're not the same level. Where I drink water, he cannot drink water. Where he drinks water, I will not be drinking water. Right? The cultural differences that we may have. Why do centers split? Look at it a little bit deeper. Is it not about spicy and non-spicy food? Arabic, Urdu, Farsi, English programs? Is it not about the dim of the lights or the blacks or whatever? Cultural, elements? Similar concept. So what does that mean Musa has to do? He has to stand on the rock, 12 different fountains for each of the tribe. So again, miracle. So Nabi Musa goes to the height, we can say the height, right? Not the height from them, but the height from the eyes. He goes to the Raiba, he goes for his manajat, he goes for his supplication. The tribe is left for how many days? 40 days. Within 40 days, what happens? What happens? The golden calf, right? From all the way to worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being monotheistic, being that muwahhid, all the way coming down to worshipping an idol made out of gold, the gold that is made or taken from their own pockets, right? In the form of a golden calf. How is that possible? You do the math. I've seen the ocean split wide open. Within 40 days after this event, I come down and I start worshipping a golden calf that makes a noise. Isn't that very obvious? But it's a fact, right? It's mentioned in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't just mention stuff, He mentions because there is a reason for it. It takes only 40 days of people who have witnessed and have gone through all of these ups and downs with Nabi Musa to change their faith completely. From being monotheistic to be completely polytheistic, right? From having that monotheistic view to all of a sudden worshipping an idol. What does that tell me? Right? Doesn't matter if I'm born as a Shia. Doesn't matter if I'm born within a community as a Shia community. Doesn't matter if I have the name of the Ahlul Bayt. Doesn't matter if I'm I'm used to wearing the attire of a Muslim. At any given circumstances, at any given instances, I could easily fall down for that worshipping of the idols. Obviously, it will not be the golden calf, inshallah, because we already know the story. But the golden calf in our time is different examples. Golden calf in our time, in our own personal life, has different examples. In our social life has different examples. In our community life has different examples. In our city life has different examples. Right? So I have to find what we refer to as the mistaq. What are the examples of this golden calf in my time? When I come to the masjid of Imam Hussein, right? We say the movement of Imam Hussein. The movement is to not the physical movement, because the physical movement of Imam Hussein finished about 1,200 years ago. Right? The history finished at that time. So what is it that continues? Why do we refer to it as a movement? It's awakening of the heart, right? It's a spiritual movement. So this is a spiritual movement. How is it supposed to impact me as whether a speaker or the listener of the message of Imam Hussein? Goes back to that one question at the beginning of the lecture. Why do I attend the masjids of Imam Hussein? Now if I know the answer, why, then how can I, obtain the utmost amount of barakat and blessing? Because we know it's like an ocean. It's an unlimited ocean. How can I be smart about it? If I want to be smart about it, I want to get the utmost amount that I can. So what should I be doing before the majlis? What should I be doing during the majlis? What should I be doing after the majlis? It's not only this 1 hour that we sit together, right? It's usually what we maintain, right? What we can, again, the starting of a movement is easy. We make intention, we say Bismillah, we start. But maintaining it is difficult. That's what we need, the community. That's what we need, that friendship. That's what we need, the brotherhood, the akhuwah, right? That's what we have to come together. One of the simple aspects of the Majalis of Imam Hussein is this practice of all of us coming together and trying to compromise for the sake of the common cause. What is that common cause? To be able to participate in a majlis known with the name of Imam Hussein, right? To the point that I may go to a majlis, I may not even understand a single word of what has been said or spoken in that majlis, right? Would that majlis be accepted for me? Yes? No? اختلف العلماء. No? The majlis will be accepted. Why? It's not even about me understanding what the speaker is. Let's say if I'm English speaker, I go to another that they speak Arabic, or they speak Urdu, or they speak Farsi, right? Or vice versa. I wouldn't understand a word that a speaker is talking. But I do go and attend the majlis with the intention of the majlis of Imam Hussein. And I sit respectfully. And I try to listen. I try to go with the emotion of the majlis. The majlis accepted. I become part of that majlis. So many stories of this regard that the people who would think that, okay, for the majlis of Imam Hussein to be accepted, I have to do such and such high level stuff. But when it comes to reality, it's when it comes to Abu Abdullah Hussein, it's an ocean, a limited ocean of love and giving. To the point that simple minor stuff, the rules that the brother mentioned, right? To come here, to be neat, to be punctual, to be do not lean against the wall, right? Sometimes we joke about it, but the very same rules, I can actually practice it with what good intention of making the majlis of Imam Hussein happen. But do the exchange with Imam Hussein. Don't do it with me, don't do it with the brother is only the messenger, as he said, right? Do it for the sake of Imam Hussein. And then see the results. See the results. It's not like I have to go way beyond. No, what we have, what all the time that the Ahlul Bayt have asked us is to go according to our own level. According to our own level is not the level of Amir al-Mu'min. According to our level is not the level of Imam Hussein. Obviously they are the Imam al-Mahsoom, they're the role models. We're supposed to look up to them. Why? Because the more we look up to the 100%, the closer we get to the 100%. It doesn't matter that I have to go all the way, right? As long as I maintain that focus point. That's when all of the barakat is coming to. That's when, inshallah, I'm getting that closeness to the Ahlul Bayt, through the Ahlul Bayt to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? It's a matter of maintaining that connection. So why do I come to the majlis of Imam Hussein? I come to the majlis of Imam Hussein. Simple answer. Number one, I try to get to know Imam Hussein a little bit more. Why do I say a little bit more? Remember the second question? If I pass the mic around in the room right now, how many minutes can you talk about Imam Hussein? Can you talk about 1 minute, 2 minutes, tell some historical facts, so we'll talk about the Ashura, talk about the stories that happened on the days before Ashura, talk about all of the Mazlumiyat of Imam Hussein. What else can I talk about? A lot of times we start with biographical facts. And Imam Hussein is our third Imam, the Imam of the Shi'an. He's the grandson of Nabi Rasulullah, and we start to talk about the historical facts. Anything beyond that. Because if that's what we know from Imam Hussein, the people who stood against Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura, they knew him better than you and I. They knew him by heart. Because a lot of these people, they were actually playmates. They were raised in the same city. They had seen Imam Hussein, like, for example, being embraced by Nabi Rasulullah. What changes? What happens? What makes the people who had seen all of these miracles from Nabi Rasulullah to form a line and compete with one another to kill the only remaining grandson of the very same Nabi Rasulullah? Same concept, same story. Nabi Musa and Qawm and Bani Israel, our time, Imam Hussein and the people who stood up against him. History repeats itself, right? So me and you, we're no different. We cannot claim because we lived after 1200 years, because we know about the tragedy of Ashura, hence we are risky. If today Imam Hussein were to be here present, all of us would be on the side of Imam Hussein. No, that's a big no with the capital N and capital O. Why? Because when the test comes, the test is not going to be repeated itself in the same format, right? It's not going to be the same exact details. What is it that we try to gain from this? We try to gain those, what we call it, the fundamental of that event. And we have to apply that on time. Right? I have to make sure to understand that. What is that Husseini movement? What are those Husseini values? What is that Husseini lifestyle? What is that personal Husseini lifestyle? What is that family Husseini lifestyle? What is that community Husseini lifestyle? Not only understand, but apply. Right? If I only understand and do not apply, no different than the ones who were like literally there in front of Imam Hussein, and Imam is talking to them, they would hear, they will not take any effects. Right? And imagine someone such as Imam Hussein. No, someone such as Amir al-Mu'minin. With that balagha, with that eloquency of speaking. Yet again, people look sideways. So me and you are no different. I have to make sure that as I come to the message of Imam Hussein, I make the intention clear. Okay, wa Abdullah, I perhaps I don't know everything, right? No one can claim that we know even a portion. But I know this much, that by coming and attending the message of Imam Hussein, I have taken one minor step. What is that minor step? Inshallah, I'm trying to spend some of my time in the message of Imam Hussein. The rest, I leave it up to you. The rest, we leave it up to Imam Hussein. And that's the whole concept that inshallah we'll be talking about for the remaining of the nights, which we refer to it as a prosperous companionship. Now, what it takes to become a companion, what it takes to maintain a companion, and what it's supposed to which aim should it take to become prosperous. What are the signs of it? What are the danger points? What are the warning zones? What should I be preventing? What should I be gaining? What should I be focusing on? These are the stuff that we have to constantly review within our mind, inshallah, every day. Why? It's a change of the course of a life. Those who have made the change, they're the ones that for 1200 years, when any of you guys have gone to the Karbala, once you enter this beautiful shrine, there is this big shrine on the side, which they call it the shrines of Shahada. What's the ziyarah over there that you recite? Once we say our salam, there is a famous quote, right? We say, Bi-Abi Antum, may my father and may my mother be sacrificed for all of you. Imagine how many zayars, how many pilgrims from 1200 years back till now have gone and have said the very same sentence of towards those shahada. What have they done to become this role model, to become this example? You cannot gain status by money. You cannot gain status by power. You cannot gain status by connection. Use everything you want, all the power that you have, all the technology. You cannot gain this status. What is it that they have done? Now, is that something only for them? Exclusive only for them? Or is the path still open? Why do we say, I wish that I was among you and with you? And how great of a prosperous ending is what you have. This I wish, is this like a realistic wish? Or no, it's like just imaginary something that you really wish but never comes true. If it's imaginary, why do you have it within the content of religion? Religion is not talking about imagination. It's talking about realistic, right? It talks about facts. It talks about reality. So if I say that I wish to be among you, that means what? The path is open. So if the path is open, that means every single one of us has the capability to be among those ashab of Sayyid Shahada. So what's the pathway towards it? How can I ensure that I'm walking that pathway? All of these questions, right before the majalis, think about it. As you come to the majlis, contemplate on it. As you leave the majlis, try to come up with the practical steps. That if I were to to be among the ashab of Sayyid Shahada, what change should I make to my life? What change should I make to my habits? What change should I make to my relation towards, let's say, my siblings, towards my parents, towards other elders, towards the people that I know, towards my let's say teachers, co-workers, towards all the community members, right? How would that change? How would that affect my life? That will be the movement of Imam Ehsan, one aspect of it. It, again, awakens the heart. When the heart becomes awakened, it finally finds the destination. Now, when it finds the destination, it's beating for it. I have to make sure I give it enough energy, inshallah. So that energy is what we gain, inshallah, in the majalis of Imam Ehsan. As again, most scholars, they always mention that it's either of the two. One part is when we recite the Quran, because it is literally speaking word by word the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another one is the majalis of Imam Ehsan, because of what he has done. Allah has given him this status. The more we focus on him, the more the pathway opens up for us. The pathway towards what? Towards getting our hajat. That's again the very first level. We can get our hajat in so many ways, right? Towards getting our shafa, towards getting our, let's say, whatever, high dream that we think is impossible. Because usually we make it like a mark and say, okay, I go to the majlis, if this happens, if I get what I want, if I finally get the A grade that I didn't study for, right? Then I start believing in Imam Ehsan. And out of the karamat, sometimes they give, sometimes, right? But no, a lot of times you have to look at it differently. Allah did not create Imam Hussein and then send them to the tragedy of Ashura after all of the massage for me and you to come and sit after 1200 years to do a little bit of mourning and commemoration so I can get that perfect A before going to college, for example. No, those are what we say the basic limits. Yes, we have it in the hadith to even ask us for the spices of your food. What about that, Shaykh? Yes, we have that one. But does it mean that out of everything in the world I have to ask for the spices? No, that means Allah tells us that whatever you ask, if it's good for you, we will give it to you. But what do we ask? And how far can we see of what you ask? That will be the difference of the vision. Right? If I only focus on what we refer to as the material world, all I'm going to be asking is what? That car that I want, the house that I want, the job that I want, the girl that I want, right? What else are we going to ask? The retirement plan that I want, the insurance that I want. And the guys are looking like, oh, nobody's asking for this stuff. No, we're asking for Imam Hussein for what? What are we asking? Right? I think some cases when we're in a difficult situation, we ask for a relief of pains. Maybe we have lost a loved one, for example. Maybe we have someone within our family who's suffering from a very severe, let's say, sickness. So we ask for a miraculous, cure, right? We want something abnormal, as a sign that, okay, Imam Hussein has heard my, let's say, prayers. But vice versa. It's not to give us some constantly abnormal things for us to believe in them. It's actually the opposite. We're supposed to believe in the Ahlul Bayt. We're supposed to believe in the Quran. We're supposed to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without seeing the abnormal things. Otherwise, we're just literally speaking, worshipping those abnormal events. Does it make sense? If I'm constantly asking for miracles, if I don't see miracles, I will stop believing. Technically, what am I worshipping? I'm worshipping the miracles. I'm not worshipping the creator of the miracles. right? I just want something that's normal. Why? It looks cool, right? It makes sound. It's made out of gold. Oh wait, it's a golden calf, right? It becomes the very same golden calf that the home of Bani Israel were worshipping at the time of Nabi Musa. Now me and you, after 1200 years, after all of this technology and iron and sciences and all of these mashallah lectures, we find ourselves worshipping the very same thing. It looks cool. It's like mashallah, it's one of those new things. It's it's the thing that everybody talks about. It's the trend, right? Everybody has it. Everybody talks about it. Everybody wants it. Why not me? Right? When a new product comes up, how everybody like races towards. These are all different signs of the very same golden calf. Different formats, different sizes, different versions. So our purpose of attending the Majalis of Imam Hussein, part of its commemoration, which comes with all of its bounties and blessings, and inshallah we'll talk about it. But we have to always understand that these bounties and blessings are given to us for a reason, right? The purification, the cleansing of the soul, all of this is given to us for a reason. Again, hypothetical question for all of you guys. Let's say right now, the first day of Majlis, right? By the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the blessings of Imam Hussein, all of us will be given the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is clean. Yes? Everything is clean. Then what? Then what do? We're clean, right? You're not going to show up tomorrow? Yeah? What are we going to do? Or we're going to ruin it up by tomorrow's night. If you're like me, by tomorrow night you're going to have a full leisure of mashallah, mashallah, right? So the whole purpose is what? Is to become clean? Or no, it's beyond that one. I always remember one of the classes that I used to have, one of my students, he was like one of the smart ones, right? So every time we would talk about different let's say Islamic topics, he always had a counter argument. One of the discussions was very the same topic. It's like, okay, when is the time to do repentance? It's like, well, obviously, I'm going to do everything I want. Right before I'm about to die, I'm going to take one moment, one repentance, everything's clean, right? Alhamdulillah. I will pass the world in a clean slate. What's the counter argument? Let's say hypothetically, by the power of ChatGPT, he knows when he's going to die. Yeah? So let's say I know X amount of hours I have, and I plan it accordingly, right the last minute of my life, hypothetically, right? The last minute of my life, I'm going to say Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh with the clear intention that inshallah Allah forgives me. Would that be a good ending? In a layman, like an example, that will be what? That will be me moving to the next world, but what have I built for the next world? Nothing. So what's the difference between me and maybe a 1 day old baby? Not even a 1 day. A baby who's born maybe for a minute and dies, right? What's the difference between me and him? Actually, he will be higher status than me. Why? Because the baby didn't have a chance, a choice to actually do actions. Me, I had a lifetime worth of actions, which I ruined it, right? So now I repent. It cleans everything. Yes. Goes back to ground zero. Ground zero. I want some castles, I want some waters, I want some rivers, I want Jannatin Tajreem and Tahtiha Anhar, I want trees, jungles, I want huris, I want all of the, mashallah, the goodies, right? Do I want to just go to a pure land? Anybody here likes to live on a pure land? No bed, no mattress, no wall, no AC, no window, no door. Is it possible? Not even grass, just pure land. Imagine desert, right? Or you have to build something. So this cleansing of a soul is a prerequisite of a higher purpose. Is a prerequisite of a higher aim. That higher aim sometimes we forget about. We tend to aim for that forgiveness, but we have to understand we're supposed to use this forgiveness for the higher aim. I cannot just say, okay, all Imam Hussein, like I come here, I try to cry for you, yes, that's the first step. But try to take that lesson with ourselves. That okay, Imam Hussein did this sacrifice for a reason. And he talks about it over and over and over again. Right? As a lesson. And inshallah we get started I'll talk about it more on the upcoming days. And his famous sermon that he tries to explain why he's rising. Why is he going against Yazid? Why is he taking not only his best of the companions but the Ahlul Bayt? All of this is mentioned in the words of Imam Hussein, right? A lot of times we read it, how some of us have memorized it. But sometimes the concept gets lost within the other aspects of the tragedy of Ashura. So this reminding of ourselves that, why do we attend the Majlis of Imam Hussein? Every night before the Majlis itself is a great opening, right? It opens up the pathway for our eyes, for our mind, for our emotions. You have to understand that there has to be always that harmony between how we think, right? How we see, and how we feel. This harmony always has to exist within the moments, personality, as you say. I cannot just fix one aspect and let go of the other aspect. Like the times that I'm in the majlis, but my mind is in the stock market. I'm in the majlis, but my mind is in the video games. I'm in the majlis, but my mind is the playoffs, whatever, right? I'm in the majlis, but my mind is somewhere else. Same thing with my heart. The emotions that I have. The emotions that we get, and that's one of the most difficult stages. To have control over the emotions to the point that the emotions would not take me away from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. This is one of the most difficult steps. They usually give an example. They say, imagine if you have your Imam al-Ma'soom present in front of you, and he asks you to do something that in your mind is impossible. Would you do it? Right? He's Imam al-Ma'soom. He's not saying this out of his personal desires. He's not saying out of something that he would gain. No. Imam al-Ma'soom is the most kind of all kind of father that you can think of. Right? He's not asking for anything for himself. But what he's asking you is something that to your mind may become impossible. Why is it impossible? Because I have made it to myself as impossible. Very good example. The relationship between mother and a child, right? So when they want to give an example of a love, they always use the example of how much a mother shares, her love for her child. Now imagine Imam Ma'soom tells the mother that if you want to be rescued with your child, you have to throw your child in a fire. What happens? Contradiction. Why? Because the mother knows fire is going to burn the child. From the other side, you get the same from Imam Ma'soom. That he's telling her to throw your child in the fire and both of you will be saved. This is not an easy task. Has this happened? Similar concept has happened. To who? To the mother of Nabi Musa. Imagine a newborn, you want to put it in a basket and let it go. Where? In a river. Look at the faith. How was she able to let go of that basket? It's easy to say it. In action, is the most difficult thing. For a mother to let go of her child in a river. That you don't know who's going to catch the child, where the basket's going to go, whether the basket's going to make it, maybe a couple of yards down the line. Right? But they have taken that leap of faith. They have put that trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The very same trust that me and you, we are getting tested every day. So inshallah we can take this one lesson from the first night as we start to prepare ourselves for the month of Muharram, inshallah, for the Majalis of Imam Hussein. We try to practice on this aspect that every single one of those companions who were able to maintain their path and their allegiance to Imam Hussein, they took that leap of faith on Abu Abdullah Hussein, despite of their background. The brothers and sisters, you look at the Ashab, it's not like they were all the mujtahideen. It's not like they were all mashallah, the great ulama of their time. No. It's not like they were all the great muttaqeen and the pious of their time. No. You see different people, different background. Yes, some of them, they were, mashallah, the heavy chaps, right? If you put those aside, some of them were great examples for me and you. Despite of whatever we have done in the background, when it comes to the system of Imam Hussein, there's always room and openings. It's a matter of us putting our trust on Imam Hussein. And when it comes to putting our trust on Imam Hussein, perhaps one of the great examples, inshallah tonight we can go and do a small ziyarah of him from a long distance, is his cousin, Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil. When it comes to the story of Muslim ibn Aqil, perhaps all of us, we can relate to him. In what sense? A lot of times we say, oh, Shaykh, we're living all the way in the West, like in our communities, we're part of minorities, a lot of people have all of this, like, nonsenses, they look at us in different ways, they tend to, to have all of this, false accusation towards what we practice, what we believe, and such, right? The example of Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil can be the role model for all of us. Again, imagine being in a place that by morning you have close to 18,000 people shaking your hand, welcoming you to a center. On the same day, before the fall of the night, when you look back, there's not a single person behind you in support of you. What changes within less than 12 hours of a day? See the concept? From 18,000, more or less, we're not arguing about the number, right? Comes down to 0. In how much time? What was happening? There was no social media at that time. There was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram. How are all these people all of a sudden change their mind? If they were able to change their mind within, let's say 12 hours, in our time, with the power of social media, how quickly we may be able to change our mind. That's one of the danger signs, right? So we look at the life of Hazrat Muslim, and we see the sacrifices that he made, and we see how he was able to maintain, again, that deep of faith on Imam Hussein, despite of being all alone. Not all alone, left alone in a strange land, right? Being a newcomer to a land, strange to him, right? All of a sudden being left alone. To what point? We look at his masa'ib. To the point that as he walks out of the masjid, he's looking to the left and right. He's new in town, but he cannot find a way out. He cannot find a person that he could ask. He could hear the whispers. Because it's not like people have disappeared. It's not like a ghost town. No, people are there, but they're on the hideouts. So you can hear the movements. You can see the shadows. You can hear the whispers going around, but no one's approaching. The only representative of Imam Hussein. What has done to people? And what will we do if you were in that situation? You want to leave the town. Which way to go? Right? Perhaps you have to take some sustenance because now you have to hit the desert out of the town. Where would you buy your sustenance for your traveling? Where would you get like a horse? Where would you get some food? Where would you get some water? What would you do? Picture yourself in the position of Hazrat Muslim. So as he comes out of the masjid, he goes to the left, he goes to the right. He cannot find a way. He keeps on walking from one alley to another alley to another alley. The orders have come to do what? To make sure we close up all the exit routes from the city of Kufa, making sure that Hazrat Muslim remains within the city. So one alley after another alley after another alley, no way out of the city. So what does he do? He gets tired after some time. He leans against the wall. After a couple of minutes, this woman comes out of the house, which the wall is the Muslims living against. She comes out, she looks outside, she sees Hazrat Muslim, she goes back in, she closes the door. Doesn't recognize a stranger. What would you do if a stranger is leaning against your wall, right, at your house? Would you call 911? So she comes back in after a couple of minutes, looks again and sees Hazrat Muslim again, goes back in. The third time she comes out, this time she says something. She's like, oh, stranger, what are you doing here? Oh, stranger, what are you doing here? Don't you have a family to go to? Don't you have a house to go to? Why are you leaning against my wall? And the Muslim tells her, said, do you know who I am? She says, no, I don't know. I know that a stranger man is leaning against my wall in the middle of the night. What would the neighbors think? Look at the mentality. As if the Muslim has to say, أنا المسلم ابن أخي. I am Muslim, the son of Aqil. I am the cousin of Imam al-Hussein. I'm here by your invitations as a representative of Imam al-Hussein. The minute she hears the name of Muslim ibn Aqil and the connection to Abu Abdullah, she's so welcome. See, look at the ma'arifah. She's not like old auntie, if you want to say. No education, no mashallah, the higher education. No, she's an old auntie. And she has heard that a representative of Imam Hussein has come to the city. She has not seen him with her eyes, right? She has not given her bay'ah to him. But just by hearing the name of Imam Hussein attributed to this stranger man outside of her house, she says, you are my guest. Please come in. She prepares the room for him. She asks, for what type of food, what kind of food can he provide for Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Muslim is not hungry for any type of food. He keeps on telling himself, reminding himself, as if something that he has done, he's constantly having a remorse for it. What is it that he's constantly going back and forth with himself? That through the entire night he does not eat anything from the food. Maybe some water, maybe some prayer, constantly mourning and crying. What's going on in the mind of Hazrat Muslim? Towards the early morning, the son of the very same lady comes back to home. As he walks in, he notices that the house is different. As if there is a guest inside of the house. Ask the mother, did you have a guest? Because he's been searching, he's been on the hunt for the very same Hazrat Muslim. Why? The price that Mal'un Ubaydullah has placed for him. The mother knows the child. Every mother knows the child. She tries to avoid. No matter how hard she tries to avoid, the son figures out that that there is a bounty on his head is a guest of honor in their own house. He doesn't let the time to go by all the way to the Fajr. He immediately leaves the house, he goes to the palace of Ubaydullah and gives the news in favor of the price. So there comes the troop from the side of Ubaydullah towards the house of this lady. Now Hazrat Muslim here looks at the honor. He says, before now I was your guest of honor, but from now on I have to move away from the house because these guys, for the price on my head, they don't know any house of you or any others. If there is a fight, it's supposed to be happening outside. He comes outside. The battle takes place. But he's Muslim, the son of Aqil. He has the blood of Haydar in his blood. They say from the morning all the way till noon and towards the afternoon, the reinforcement troops were kept on being sent in badges and badges and badges to fight one man. How much can one man fight without having properly eaten, without having properly drink something? How much, how long, how much more energy would it have? To the point that Ubaydullah sends a letter to Muhammad ibn Ash'as, who was the commander in charge to actually capture the Muslims. Like, what are you doing? I keep on sending you badges of reinforcement, and yet again you ask for more badges. Muhammad ibn Ash'as responds back and says, who do you think we are trying to capture here? This is not like an ordinary salesperson that you will go after. This is not like an ordinary person that you will send 2 or 3 people and they will capture and bring him. No. He is Muslim, the son of Aqil. He has the very same blood as Haydar. He is the one who has drank shahada, who has drank the courage, who has drank the shaja'ah, with the very same milk as he was growing up. If you want to capture him, you have to send whatever you have. So they start to put ambushes for him. They cannot win in one-on-one, they cannot win on a group versus one, they start putting ambushes on his way. They go on the roofs of the houses, they try to attack him from different sides. One of the ambushes, as they try to push him back, He slips, he falls down within the hole that they had dug for him. As he falls down, strike of a sword, and his beloved lives. They're able to surround him. They give him aman. They give him, you are on a safe passage, O Muslim, if you agree to come with us with Dar al-Amara. So the promise of a safe passage. They tie his hands. They take him to Dar al-Amara. Now what a stage. Imagine from morning till about noon or afternoon, you've been fighting. No water, no food. You've been struck over the lip. As the blood is coming, gushing down from your lip, you're going towards Dar al-Amara. Here one of the Maqatil says, as they brought Hazrat Muslim to Dar al-Amara, right before they were about to enter Dar al-Amara, he looks to the right side, there was this place that they would place these vases of water for people who would want to drink water. He looks, he sees the water, and he wants to ask for a cup of water. But the minute he wants to raise his voice, one of the guards who were behind him, he kicks Hazrat Muslim inside of Dar al-Amara. Now if someone kicks you from the behind, and your hands are tied from the behind, how would you hit the ground? I will not give the full description. Then they raise the body of Hazrat Muslim. Now the full face is covered in blood. They take him to that Mal'un Ubaydullah, and Ubaydullah tries to harass Hazrat Muslim. And he tries to mimic and be shame Hazrat Muslim for everything that he has done. And he tells him the guards to take him upstairs to the roof of Dar al-Amara and make sure that they get rid of Hazrat Muslim once and for all. They see as they start to take Hazrat Muslim upstairs, they notice that he's crying. One of those guards, he turns around and says, "Oh Muslim, why are you crying? Weren't you expecting this end for yourself when you started the rise against the Khalifa of your time?" Hazrat Muslim, as he cries, he says, "Oh fool, I'm not crying for myself. My body, my life is a worthless thing. What I'm crying is for what I have done." "What have you done, O Muslim?" He says, "I have written a letter." What was that inside of the letter? In that letter, I have told the grandson of Nabi Rasulullah. I have told the Hussein ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. I have told the last of the Panjtan. I have told the last grandson of Nabi Rasulullah. "Oh Hussein, the path is open for you. Oh Hussein, a city full of supporters are awaiting you. Oh Hussein, a city is all in one unified motion of inviting you as their guest of honor. But I did not know, oh Hussein, that by a guest of honor they meant to sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Hussein, forgive Muslim for what the message I have sent you." They take him all the way to the Dar al-Amara. They try to bring some water for him as a sign of respect. The first time, a drop of blood falls down. The second bowl, another drop of blood. The third time, this time the teeth of Hazrat Muslim, teeth of his teeth, falls down on the bowl of water. Hazrat Muslim looks at the water. He says, "If it were meant to be for me to drink some water, I would have drank by now. Let me go at the stage of thirsty." He looks towards the land of Karbala and he says, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. My salam be upon you, Imam al-Hussein." So many resemblances between the representative of Imam al-Hussein and Imam al-Hussein. They killed him when he was thirsty. They threw his body down from Dar al-Amara to the point of cracking of his bones being heard. They dragged his body among the alleys of Kufa to the point that the body could not be notified or identified. They hanged his headless body at the front of Dar al-Amara as the sign of an example for all of those who would stand in support of Imam al-Hussein. But la yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. Oh Muslim ibn Aqil, I know there are so many resemblances, but oh Muslim, at least they were not going to kill you in front of your women and children, in front of your sister Sayyida Zainab, in front of all of these little kids, while they were looking at you from the Tala Zainabiyah. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. Let's make the intention and inshallah we can do the short ziyarah. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. One more time. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن وعلى أولاد وعلى أصحاب. اللهم إنا نسألك ونعوذ باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم الآبي بحق محمد وعلي وفاطمة والحسن والحسين وتسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين. يا الله 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 يا الله. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والناس واجعلنا من أعوانه وأخص شيعته. اللهم ارحم أمواتنا واشف أمراضنا واجعل عاقبة الأمور خيرا. Oh Allah, oh Allah, oh Allah, will ask you on the right of Imam Hussein, on the right of Muharram, oh Allah, hasten the appearance of our Imam of time and grant all of us the bounty of being part of his companionship. Oh Allah, will ask you for forgiveness upon all of us of all of our past sins and upon all of our mahroomeen and deceased ones. Oh Allah, will ask you to provide cure and shifa for all of the sick ones, mu'mineen and mu'minat from this community and around the world. Oh Allah, will ask you to grant all of us the true ma'arifah of our Imam of time and grant all of us the ziyarah of the Ahlul Bayt in this world and the benefits of their shafa'ah in the next. Oh Allah, will ask you to increase and extend your support upon all of the oppressed ones, Muslimin and Muslimat around the world. Oh Allah, will ask you to grant all of us the true bounty of being a true mourner and commemorator of Imam al-Hussein in the month of Muharram and Safar. Oh Allah, will ask you to continue guiding us on Sirat al-Mustaqim, granting all of our children and our offspring the love of the Ahlul Bayt and the Quran. Oh Allah, will ask you on the first month of the Muharram to make this month of Muharram the best of the months of Muharram of our life. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.